we will move into public comment, which is comment where the commissioners invite you to tell us how you think about certain issues, and we expect that those issues are relevant to this Board of Commissioners. We do not engage in debate, so at times when we haven't responded, that's because we are listening to your concerns, and that's what we are charged to do. We ask that we do not have applause or booing, which has occurred, or objections to the business of the board. Is simply a forum to hear comments from the public. If you have expressed your comments in the past, we have knowledge of those, we have recordings of those, and we know how you stand on certain issues. If you have not been heard and you wish to be heard by the board, we will welcome listening to you. If you have something other than a subject that was brought to our attention before that you wish to bring to our attention now, we welcome listening to your comments. So that, I hope I've explained the purpose of public comments with regard to this Board of Commissioners. We do limit those comments to 2 minutes. And in saying that, I welcome any member of the public who has something to say that they haven't said before to the board to address us. Good morning.
Good morning, Candice Keller, 3430 Central Avenue, Middletown. First of all, thank you for making the most political speech I've ever heard out of any commissioner. Secondly, thank you for showing us that you do have 100% ability to make resolutions. And thirdly, restricting the way people respond to what you say is a violation of First Amendment rights. The Commissioner's Office recent email to county employees stated that you would discontinue the instituting of a legal face mask policy. Yet I continue to see continuous emails, such as the following, which occurred last Tuesday, June 15th, following my visit here. I'm an employee working for a Butler County agency. I came into work with the intent that I would not again be bullied for a choice that I have made to not wear a mask or be vaccinated. My office has a small number of staff persons, and none of us sit close together. I have trouble breathing. The mask policy has proven to be bullying from county paid office holders, and frankly, we have had it with this hypocrisy. I make a very small salary compared to the county commissioners who continue to refuse to let us breathe freely. My boss proceeded to come over to my desk, lay a stack of paper face masks on my desk with a bare hand, and said, "You have to wear a mask or be vaccinated." I said, "No, I don't, and I won't. My doctor advises that this is my choice, and so I'm choosing to refuse to be made a mockery of in my office because I won't be vaccinated and I won't wear a face mask." I have worked many years for the Commissioner's Office, and I'm tired of this. My boss said,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I am going to interrupt at this time and ask you, what would you like us to do about this employee?
If you give me a minute, I'll get to that.
Okay. Well, if you would give me the respect to answer me right now, I would appreciate that.
Well,
I will allow you.
When you answer my questions, I'll answer yours. Even mentioning that a face mask is required is a violation of Ohio Revised Code. ORC 4731.41 and 4731.34, which states that a face mask is designated as a medical device in all 50 states by the FDA, and that even recommending a person to wear a face mask unless you are a licensed medical professional is a violation of Ohio Revised Code and is a 5th-degree felony in the state of Ohio. Forcing a person to do this, to enter any facility, is illegal under the federal civil rights law, which requires that as a place of public accommodation, your business must provide free and equal access to all services and facilities without discrimination. Ohio Revised Code 4112.02 further prohibits any person from preventing entry into the facility for the enjoyment of any business establishment as no law has been broken. Even physicians themselves cannot force any person to wear a face mask. The continued inquiries that I continue to get from Butler County offices is an extraordinary violation of right to privacy, particularly in light of the fact that such vaccinations given have not been proven to be safe for emergency use. Pursuant to the FDA 21 U.S. Code 36B3, medical products not granted emergency use cannot be made compulsory in the workplace or anywhere. Any county offices which are funded 100% by taxpayer dollars can be held liable for any damages caused by experimental shots. Any government official or their agents who impose COVID-19 vaccines can be held personally liable for violating federal law. 100% of county commissioners in this nation have the ability to enact a resolution, and you have done so, or a statement, which is the same thing, saying that you agree to ignore all illegal mandates. This is an absolute no-brainer. It should state, be it hereby enacted that all acts, laws, orders, rules, mandates, lockdowns, and regulations passed by the federal or state government, past, present, or future, which violate an individual's First Amendment rights, rights to assemble, or Fourth and Fifth Amendment right to privacy, including but not limited to personal medical decisions, shall be invalid in Butler County, not be recognized by Butler County, and specifically rejected by Butler County, and shall be considered null and void and of no effect in Butler County. It should also be accompanied by a letter that all Butler County businesses could post on the front door of their businesses that state, Butler County is open. Mask mandates and all other pretended laws or orders that are considered invalid within Butler County are not punishable by law. No legal action will be taken if you choose to enter and patronize this facility or establishment without a face mask. No one will question you about your vaccination status or any other personal health matter, since that is a violation of right to privacy and is information protected by both the Ohio and U.S. Constitution. Butler County Commissioners respect your First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights to assemble and maintain personal privacy. Will you three commissioners commit to doing those two things? Releasing an immediate resolution opening the county and ignoring illegal orders? And will you provide a letter to all businesses, small and large, ensuring them that you will uphold your oath to protect our rights and obey legitimate law? Also, I'd like to request a copy of the resolution you just did lifting the emergency order.
Fine. That can be provided to you. I believe that if you're patient after the meeting, the clerk can go upstairs and get a copy of that for you today.
So you did that resolution, but you will not do an additional.
Do you have any other comments for us today?
Did I answer the questions that you asked me?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who has comments for the board today? Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Darby Boddie I live at 7330 Cherrywood Lane. So last time that I spoke up here, I read a little bit from the book, Doctrine of a Lesser Magistrate. And that was on June 7th. And after I spoke in here, TC, if I may call you TC, I know you said out there that that's what you prefer to be called. You approached me outside and you said that, we spoke briefly about the mask mandates, and you said that you were concerned that the health department and several other entities, that is what you guys are battling. And you also said that and then I mentioned the vaccine passport and that, that possibly is coming. And you said, don't worry, we're going to stop that. So what I am asking and kind of wondering is, why would you want to stop the vaccine?
That's not what I said.
Well, you said, don't worry, I don't know how, but we're definitely not letting that happen.
I don't know.
So with that, and I thank you for speaking with me regarding that, but what I'm wondering is, how are you going to stand up against the vaccine passports but not stand up against the mask mandates? And what is your plan to possibly stand up against the passports if that continues? And then there was also sorry, I just lost my place. There was also a comment that you put let's see, sorry, I just lost my spot. In the Pulse Journal, it said, we can't do anything unless we want to be adversarial. And I think times like this do take people with courage to stand up and be adversarial. And I think that's what we, again, are looking from you guys. And you are obviously prepared to stand against the vaccine passports, which I am very thankful for, and the community is very thankful for, if those come down the chain. But what is your plan to go against unlawful things like the passport when you couldn't even stand up against the masks for our community?
Well, Darby, I'd like to ask you where your courage is. Where is your courage, ma'am?
Geez,
Why don't you stand up for it?
That's what I'm doing right now.
No, you're at what happens to be one of the unusual public forums. We're always open, and you're here bringing forward an issue that's not our issue. As long as this happens, you'll see us being frustrated because it's not the business of the commission. And then we see the audience who has a true issue with the health department, but you're not courageous enough to go to the health department. Take your courage in hand and take it where you can truly make a difference. And I've fought government, and the way that you do it is to find out where you can affect change. Now, I've gone to my legislators every single time we have new legislators and ask for help. No one has ever helped me there, but I still try. That's decades of trying. So you're not always effective, but go to the source and ask them. You have a unique opportunity, everyone in this room. There will be debriefings on how we handled the pandemic, how it was handled at every aspect. Sit at the table and say, this wasn't right, that wasn't right, and affect change. I would be frustrated if I came here time after time and asked for change. I would.
Yeah.
But go where you can affect change.
Well, I feel like that's why we're speaking here, is because we feel that you have the power to affect change. And that's why we are coming to you guys week after week. And maybe this is where there's a disconnect, but this is why we are coming to you, because other commissioners have stood up for their community. And we know you have the power. And maybe, I don't know what it's going to take to for you guys to see that. And I fear that there are worse things coming down the pipeline, and then when it is really truly affecting you guys, that's when you're going to stand up, and it may be too late. I am brave. I'm shaking with adrenaline right now because this is a very scary, and I've also been speaking at the school board for Lakota School District, and there are potential things in the making there. And on the way here, I called all the legislators, the House legislators, against HB 248, and I have 2 more to call on my way home. So that is courage. And, there is a lot of people that have been called to be here, but only a few show up. So that is courage, and I do have courage. And now that I do have the information against the health department, I will go there as well. And that takes courage as well. So thank you so much for your...
You're not going to change our philosophy about conservative government.
Right.
So you have 3 commissioners sitting here who believe in less government and not intervening with businesses and with other elected officials. We do our business of the board. That's what we've done, and that's why we've been so successful. So yes, you're asking us to reach beyond that and somehow cause the Board of Health to change their business or to tell our governor that he's not doing things correctly. When we fix things in Butler County, we work to make a change. And then that's great when a change has occurred. Do you feel that lifting the mask requirement is not enough?
Well, I think, okay, so you guys, you deal with businesses, correct?
No.
Well, is that what you just said, that you're
I said
dealing with
we
business?
do not.
Okay, you do not do. So you are for the people?
We are elected in a county of 380,000
Right.
people, and
Right.
we hope that we have to represent the best that we can.
Okay, and our county is crying out to you guys that we need your support and we need you to stand up for the, Candice just read, I mean, for my husband has been overseas in Afghanistan as a advanced EMT, and he was a Marine before then. And so I've had the privilege and the ability to kind of be out here and stand up and not have to work. And right now, and not have to work in a masked position.
Environment, right.
Yes, sorry. And, but I couldn't imagine working with a mask and having to work every day, not being able to breathe. I wore a mask for 2 weeks, and it was just terrible. And then I realized what was going on, and I've been maskless ever since. But there are people who cannot breathe. It's just causing so many issues for people, and they should have the option whether or not they want to wear a mask. And there is much information out there saying, peer-reviewed, that masks do not work.
Why aren't you going to the right source?
Well-
You didn't have knowledge of where the right source is?
Well, from what I understand, you guys are the right source, and that's where I'm coming to.
We're saying we're here every week
Right.
saying that we're not. Now, when you hear us handle other problems with constituents, we often refer them to the right place because the calls do come into the commissioners about every single issue, and that's we hope that we can direct people correctly. We get a lot of constituent issues, but I will reach out to, and the board will reach out to the Board of Health and say, there are people here who have issues with the way you're doing business. And if it were me and this were my passion, I'd be at the table asking for the change, asking for the reform. And that's the way I personally have been effective when I have an advocacy issue that's burning in my heart that I know is wrong. But I promise you, this Board of Commissioners cannot do that for you.
Okay.
You listen to our agenda. That's just not what we do.
Well, thank you for that information, and we'll definitely continue searching where we can maybe make the most improvement. However, I do pray that the Holy Spirit opens up your hearts and your minds and you accept the words that are coming from our mouths.
Thank
Amen.
you so much, Darby.